Hey everybody, this is Digital Sticks, and I'm doing something a little different. This may not turn out very good because this is not the way I'm set up to do videos. However, I'm going to show you, as you see here, I've got two cameras going, so I've got my trackers ready and what I want to demonstrate today is simply what it takes to launch VRChat with an index headset. And this is important. To me, this is important. Maybe I overrate this, but for me, uh, a reliable launch setup is very important. I like to just keep it simple and start playing the game. And so, to start with, my headset hangs from a hook right here, and to launch SteamVR, well, I don't know if I pressed it there, but you just have to press this button. It's on the headset, so it's launching now. But have a launch button right here. That will open your Steam menu and everything else in the game. If you're playing any kind of game where you're not going to actually use your index controllers, you can navigate your entire menu and launch games and everything else using this button, and you get the little dot you'd get with the phone VR. So with that, now the monitor doesn't show it, but SteamVR is already launched. One hiccup I have, which I have fixed in the past, but it did come back after a driver update, is I do have to troubleshoot my sound. You can click troubleshoot, and it'll troubleshoot, and as soon as it opens the box, then you can just click cancel, and then the index speakers will be set. That is some kind of driver issue with NVIDIA. The other option is you can disconnect and reconnect your power to the headset, and there is a registration entry that can be changed to fix it too. That's what I did previously, and then I upgraded my drivers, and I've not messed with it since. So anyways, SteamVR has already launched, so I'm going to switch over and to my index for the microphone, and when I launch VRChat, it should replace the cameras with my VRChat window. Hopefully this all works. I'm hoping to do it on one edit, but okay. Okay, so I'm going to cheat here and just make sure, yes, you can still hear me, should still hear me on the index microphone. So that's the difference between an index microphone and ONN. So my base stations, everything are loaded. So now just power on my controllers. And again, normally I'm not narrating a video or on camera. This, if I would have timed this out a little bit better to have my SteamVR view would be pretty good too. So, okay, now I've already have finger tracking. Simply click VRChat and launch it. And yes, I think, let me double check, make sure this went the way I wanted it to. Well, yes, okay. So now, so I remember what I'm trying to do. Okay, so here I am in VR. And of course I could leave those cameras on, just one moment. Yeah. And we'll mute the headset mic. Let's see. See if we can do this a little better. There, that should work. Okay. So, I probably won't say on the camera, but here we go. So as you see, I don't have to worry about my hair or anything like that. I don't have to worry about the situation in my room, which is sketchy while I'm busy with school. But also, I did have, for a while, I had a room set up that was just a game room, studio room, and that was always kind of a work in progress, but it was certainly a lot better to work with. But now I'm engaged, and future hopes and expectations and all of that do not involve having a separate game room. I'm going to need another bedroom yet again. So anyways, I digress. That's why I've moved everything and why I don't have a situation really suitable for this yet. I'm hoping to come up with something workable. I've been working on trying to get something more workable for my DJ set, but that's enough of that. So as you see, I'm already in VRChat. Super simple. There was nothing extra to do. My play space is ready to go. My headset's ready to go. It's a matter of launching SteamVR and launching VRChat. And it's even easier than it looks when I'm not trying to make a video show me doing it. But the reason I have the cameras and everything is, see, look, I'm in VRChat and all that. Hopefully my trackers are charged. I believe I charged them last time I used them. But now here's what I got to do to put on trackers by having a native setup instead of a hybrid setup. I'm not having to worry about, okay, hang on. All right, so I'm blind in VR at the moment. Now I could set up the pass-through cameras, and that would be good enough for me to see what I'm doing, but that'd be too easy, right? Okay, well, they all at least have a charge. So, okay. And you'll see here that I wear my wrist straps even with my index controllers, and this is why. I did not have to set them down. I mean, they do kind of bang around on stuff. Not the end of the world. Don't mind my worn out shoes. Thanks to COVID, it's not a concern this semester. And I do a lot of work around here, so. Oh, but yes, I am not rich. So when I'm recommending the index, it is not because I'm loaded in cash and don't have anything to worry about. It's because I made an investment when I could, and it pays off now. So, okay, so now I have the hip trackers on. All the trackers are on. They're powered on. I simply power them on before I set it up, and now just in VRChat, calibrate, and boom, T-pose and legs. Just like that, and guaranteed to be like that. I do not have to worry about whether it's going to work, whether an update's broke it. I don't think at this point SteamVR is ever going to do an update that's going to break the trackers in and of themselves for any reason. It's native to Steam, and so with the native setup, I don't have to track down a different set of controllers and wave them all around with index controllers. There's just some extra hassles that are involved, sometimes unexpectedly, and it may not be every time you turn on your device, but as you know, if you've got an Oculus Quest or you're using Link or anything like that, you have to turn the headset on, navigate to Link, however it's done currently. I know it was in beta before, so maybe now it's a little bit better. But then you also have to have the Oculus software on your computer as well. And then from there, you can launch SteamVR and OpenVR. But so you're having to run a lot of software and launch a lot of things and just you're having to do a lot of extra steps. Plus, you're having to add your headphones or whatever you want to do for quality audio unless you're just living without it. It's an important thing to consider with VR, and having a complete package that was built and designed to be that complete package is just excellent. So, I don't know, budget, hang on, let me kill these other things, okay? Okay. Don't need those anymore for this video. It's all done. Anyways, I don't know, if I overrate that or not, but for me, it's huge. I'd love to just jump in. And if you see how easy that was for me to launch VRChat, that's how easy it is for me if I get an idea for a video like this to simply jump in and do it. It's far easier for me to launch VRChat and be ready to go for one of these videos than it would be to do a video by any other means. And so, but it's only that much easier because the index makes it that way. Now, the original Rift would have also been nearly as easy, providing I'm not needing trackers, or if I do need trackers, nothing was broke, because it had outside-in tracking. It was pretty much once you're set up to go, you're set up to go. But I did have to run Oculus software all the time, plus run SteamVR and everything else. That is an advantage of having an index. Even if your computer can't run the index a whole lot better than it could run anything else with lower resolution, it's still, that's all the more reason you're actually saving resources by running an index conservatively than you do by trying to use other headsets. So all I am trying to share on this is I am not paid by Valve. I do not have anything involved in this other than the more people that understand what it takes for quality VR and recognize the value of it and recognize how much better the return is for their investment, the more people that are making wiser choices, and the more incentive there is for companies like Valve to produce quality hardware and to not settle for gimmicks. Like I've said in other videos, I don't understand why HP even puts out such a high quality headset attached to the WMR platform. I mean, there's something to it that I don't understand. They may not have an option, but it seems like if they could cooperate with Valve to make a good headset for WMR, they should have just cooperated with Valve to make a good headset that also works straight through SteamVR. Now, maybe a caveat there is whatever happened between Valve and HTC, so that HTC went out on their own. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's getting off on a tangent. But the point is, I'm ready to play VRC with full body tracking and everything else, and it was super simple. I can count on it every time. It's been this way the entire time I've had my index. I had my index October of 19, so I wasn't quite an original launch person. I was, I really didn't expect to, I was impressed by the index. I liked the features, but I really didn't see where I needed it because I enjoyed my CV1. It was actually running into people in here in VRChat that had the index that had started off having the same CV1 hybrid setup for trackers that I had, that kind of helped put me over the fence. Like, I was aware of some features and everything, and they just really helped make it make sense and click. And I am grateful that they did, because that was October. And then shortly after I got it, within a month, the index was sold out just for holiday demand. And then after that, it stayed sold out, and it was, how it would have recovered ordinarily, I don't know. But then after that, COVID created additional demand plus supply issues. And then, of course, Valve did it to themselves by launching Half-Life Alyx. So the index availability past the point that I bought one was an issue. But I literally got it when it was back in stock and had it within a few days. And even that was, it was pretty exciting that it was on the way. And just waiting a few days for it took some time, took some patience, and to see what other people have gone through, which is something else to keep in mind, that the way things have been going lately, the demand and the production and things like that have been troublesome with just about every launch of every type of device. And so, you want to kind of make this decision up front and go for it sooner rather than later, for your own benefit of actually getting a hold of the device of your choice while you can. Now, things might completely change. That may not be the same issue that it's been, but it's been that way for a while. It's worth considering. Now, with the Reverb G2, yes, if you do a hybrid setup, at least first impressions, it's working fine for people doing the full hybrid setup with the index controllers, and then you're getting the better resolution of the Reverb G2 at the expense of some field of view and at the expense of some refresh rate. But the people that are doing it say it's worth it. I'm not trying to downplay that whatsoever, but we don't know what the long-term satisfaction is by using the hybrid setup. We don't know how often they're going to have to reset things, calibrate things, whether or not anything will actually get broken or during the middle of gameplay, because you don't have to have something catastrophically shift If you're playing a game competitively and you need accuracy and your head position drifts over inches from where it is in real life versus your controllers, that's going to be a problem. That hasn't been verified as a problem, but it's a real possibility depending on how well the reverb maintains the tracking of the headset itself. Now, as far as gameplay goes and all of that, that element was rated okay, but it was rated okay, but how does that compare to, well, being calibrated to components that are being tracked by base stations? So, it may not, when you're using the full reverb kit, it may not feel like it's moved much. It may feel pretty stable and steady. But if everything's kind of drifting relative to each other, you're not going to know that at first you perceived yourself here in VR and now you're here in VR. But if just your head has moved over, then you're going to perceive that. If I was standing straight up and down, but this is what I looked like in a mirror in VRChat, I was like, excuse me, that's going to be kind of a problem in games. So just keep that in mind with the hybrid setup for anything. If you already own a headset and you're getting into VRChat and you're wanting to add trackers, you can't go wrong with a hybrid setup because you already own your headset. And regardless of whether you're going to change to something later, you're going to need the base stations for the trackers. So you're not going to go wrong by doing the hybrid setup. You may not have the best possible scenario, but it works pretty well. So I'm not trying to knock that at all, as long as people understand it. Realistically, that should not be a reason why, if you know for a fact you want the trackers, that you go cheap instead of going with the headset that's going to work for you, if you can afford it. Okay, that's a big if. I get it. I think people act as though you can't possibly recommend an index kit without understanding that not everybody's rich. Well, I understand not everybody's rich. I'm hardly rich myself, but I can still recommend it because I'm trying to give quality advice, and that's quality advice. The bottom line is, hey, if you got the money, this is the goal. This is the best thing that's out there right now. And from there, what are you sacrificing when you pay less? I'm trying to have that conversation because that's where people can find out what will work best for them. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that helped to see. Really, it's even easier than it looks in this video when I'm not making a video and I'm just simply launching VR. And so for me, that's huge. And also, I didn't really highlight it in real time at the time, but having a quality audio setup built into the headset, as you see, I didn't fumble for any headphones either. Now, as easy as that was to launch the game, it's even easier to just jump in and out if need be. And you see my trick where I attach my index controllers, I use the wrist straps, so it takes an extra second to put them on, but I don't. So when I'm doing all this stuff, some people have complained about the comfort of the controllers. My hand straps are just tight enough to hold it in place. They're not even tight is the wrong word, but they're making enough contact that normal movements aren't a problem. That's because I use the wrist straps for their safety backup. So I can forget about all of it. My hands are comfortable and I'm not going to throw my controller off accidentally. If I need to grab something, I can just simply hang them from my wrist and grab it. Sometimes that doesn't work out, as you see, they bang around. But altogether, very convenient way to deal with VR. I mean, sometimes if I got to leave the room, depending on what I'm doing, I leave my trackers on, I leave the controllers on and everything, and I head out and I come back. And because I'm not messing with any hybrid setups or anything like that, nothing is messed with or fooled or tricked. Once I'm back in the play space, everything's where it's supposed to be. I know on occasion when I use the hybrid setup, that was questionable, but it seemed like towards the end of using the hybrid setup for quite some time, even the hybrid setup could handle that. So that setup is a good setup. It's just, it's not the same thing as having built-in proper support for everything. It's not the same thing as not needing the hybrid setup at all because your device already supports all of those features. But it is still a pretty good development, so please understand that. My main thing on that is just know that realistically, unless you're just ridiculous and can spend whatever the heck it takes to get the very tippity-top best that's possible, realistically, in advance, there's nothing that's made a better value by the hybrid setup existing. It's more of a path to a better setup if you already own a headset and you decide you want to go with trackers. And now with the Reverb G2, it's something that you would have to do to even add quality controllers, which is way more expensive than simply needing to add trackers to Oculus touch controllers. Because the intuitiveness of the touch, not too many people with an Oculus Quest in VRChat are having hangups about not having finger tracking. I mean, they probably look at it, they probably think it would be cool, but I can guarantee you that if they were to get an Index, they're not buying it for finger tracking because their touch support on their controllers is already pretty darn good for VRChat, even without 3 of their fingers being tracked. 2 of their fingers. 3 of their fingers being tracked. No, 2, sorry, my bad. I can't recall whether there's touch sensitivity on the grip button or not. All right, I digress. I went longer with this than I meant to. Hope this helps. Digital Sticks. If you want to like and subscribe and all that stuff, I'd appreciate it. I don't have any real ambitions with this channel, but I certainly do have the capability of making polished videos, fancy intros. I know how to do the tricks that are done. I just can't justify it with what I've got. And I'm fine with putting the content out there, but I certainly can take it up another notch if it's ever warranted. And in the meantime, I appreciate people watching, and it's fun to do. It feels good, so I'm going to keep doing it. Even if I get the dislikes, as long as I know that I've told the truth the best I know to tell it, that's fine. I'm also humble, believe it or not. If someone makes a valid point that I didn't consider, I'm going to acknowledge that. I don't have anything in this fight other than a genuine desire to help people out. And also, VR technology is great. And so wanting people to find the right technology for them so they get the same satisfaction, because with the right devices they will, more than likely, then that's important. So that's where I put, that kind of compels me to put in some extra effort on this channel, on discussions, and all of that. But at the end of the day, the extra effort is not an indication that it's not a contest that I have to be right or that someone else has to be wrong. I think a lot of people are misunderstanding this as if the effort is representing some kind of agenda or some kind of game, and it's none of that. It's not even worth any of that. The effort is kind of necessary in some respects because of hype. And so there's some hype that's being countered, and that makes it more important to make some points than others, and that will certainly start to look like an agenda as well. It's not. It's a matter of breaking through and having confidence that I've helped the truth be available for people to consider. So again, thank you. I'm out.